Happy Thursday, guys. I'm Ryan, Michigan Storm Chasers here. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. If this is your first time watching, feel free to hit the like button and feel free to also subscribe. We do content like this all the time here on the YouTube channel. Michigan weather, we got you covered. I want to start with saying a shout out to today's sponsor of the video, which is StormGuard Roofing and Construction, based out of the Detroit metro area, Macomb, Oakland, parts of Livingston, and parts of Wayne counties. Feel free to give StormGuard a call for roofing and construction needs, 248-985-3239. And thank you to StormGuard for being today's spotlight sponsor here on Michigan Storm Chasers YouTube. Now, diving into the forecast, we have a very messy 3-day weekend upcoming. So what we're going to start with here, I don't have all the forecast yet loaded in. We're going to be doing a live stream tonight here on YouTube at 7 p.m. to go over all the details with our first call forecast. But this video is going to be more so geared toward the communication and time frames of what to expect and when to expect it and where to expect it. All right, let's go ahead and dive in here. This is the European model on the precipitation type. This is going to show you where rain's falling, where snow's falling, where it's ice and all that jazz, and what time. Let's go ahead and walk through today. This is Thursday. We're going to be dry today for the most part. We're going to have possibly a snow shower up there by Sault Ste. Marie. Not going to be a huge deal. All right, go to tomorrow morning here. We're going to have some rain to our south, which could give us a few showers across the southern portion of the state early on Friday. Talking like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, a little bit after that perhaps. And then attention's going to shift northward for Friday afternoon at 2 p.m. here on the model. Here is 5 p.m. We're going to start noticing some rain filling up further north. We're pretty much dry further south. Again, kind of seeing a couple sprinkles possible, across that southern tier counties during the Friday evening. But the bulk of the concerns begins Friday afternoon, evening for northern lower Michigan. As that fills in, we're going to notice a few things here. We have a mix of rain and freezing rain as well as sleet up there in the UP. This is Friday, 8 p.m., so tomorrow evening. Going into the overnight period of Saturday morning, that freezing rain potential ramps up. Go to sunrise Saturday. It continues to show freezing rain potential up there. This is Saturday, 8 a.m. at this point. And still notice we're still dry further south here. It's all further north. All right. Let's go through the day on Saturday. We're going to go to 11 o'clock. And then here is 2 p.m. in the afternoon Saturday. It kind of starts drifting south. But then as we move later into the evening Saturday, here's 5 p.m. And here is 8 p.m. We're going to notice a secondary system kind of starts to develop there. And because our temperatures don't really fluctuate too much, freezing rain once again for portions of the UP as well as northern lower Michigan, and then rain further south here. This is overnight into Sunday morning now. We're seeing that really start to ramp up here into the sunrise Sunday time frame. And by the time we get into the Sunday afternoon time frame, that continues to dump freezing rain as well as rain further south. So it's going to be a 3-day event here, off and on for a lot of us here. But overall, why we are concerned is directly related to two things here. And number one, the freezing rain potential could be significant. We're talking ice storm criteria is going to likely be met and exceeded in some spots. That could cause power outages. That could cause impossible travel. It's going to cause a lot of issues, primarily for the UP, but also for portions of the very far northern tip of lower Michigan. Keep that in mind, especially through the day on Saturday and Sunday. Those are going to be your two most impactful days. But I do think this has potential to be an impactful, significant system in terms of ice and power outages for the people of the UP. We'll have a full forecast map out tonight on our stream, so feel free to tune back in, or you can rewatch it as well. You can always rewatch all of our live streams if you can't make them to the actual live event. You can find them back on our page, on our YouTube page as well, so if you want to rewatch that. But going into the zoomed in look of Michigan, we're going to talk about what kind of ice accretion we're going to talk about, or what we could be looking at. We're going to switch this over here to the freezing rain total, and we're going to take these with a grain of salt. Okay, models like to overdo things. We're probably going to cut these in half, really, is what we're going to do. So we're looking at primarily the highest amounts up to about a 1/2 inch of ice accretion. Now, for reference, 0.25 or a quarter inch is the threshold to become worried for power outages and tree impacts and stuff like that. We're seeing basically the entirety of the UP, especially over here toward like the Munising, just south of Munising, down toward Mackinac area. This particular area is most concerning, as well as a few areas up here by the Marquette and maybe Menominee County area where we could see some higher accretion of that ice. So between a widespread area of roughly about 2/10 to maybe a half inch of ice is the expectation, which is going to meet ice storm criteria if this trend continues. We're still 2 or 3 days away. There's some time to adjust, there's some time to change, but right now the signal is definitely there for an ice storm for portions of the UP as well as northern lower Michigan. In terms of snowfall though, over the past 48 hours, we've seen pretty much a very far northward shift of the heaviest accumulation. Right now, most of that snow does stay north of the UP. If we zoom in, though, we're going to notice the very far northern tip of the Upper Peninsula may get an inch or two of snow, and also the Keweenaw Peninsula up here. They're the only ones really concerned for anything significant snow-wise, so we're going conservative with our first call snow forecast. Again, we'll show you guys that later, but I do think the Upper Peninsula is going to miss most of the snow, minus the Keweenaw Peninsula there. We could see a couple inches, perhaps as much as a foot of snow, if this model is correct. So that is your snowfall forecast. And then finally, the severe and rain side of things here, further south. Luckily, not going to be worried about ice, but we are concerned about a few things. Starting with Friday, SPC does have a marginal risk out, dark green areas there for pretty much the entirety of the UP. It butts over toward Mackinac, toward the Traverse City, toward Gaylord area there. This is going to be for large hail later Friday evening. We have some of these storms moving in that could drop some larger hailstones. Overall, no big concern for wind or tornadoes. I think it's mainly a hail event here, and that'll be centered around Friday evening into the overnight hours of Saturday. All right. Now, Sunday is a different story. We have a day 4 risk off to our south still. I'm going to show you guys why we're still concerned about this. All right. We're not really concerned, overly concerned, but I do want to show you guys the instability model here for that time frame. So going into the Friday morning time frame, Friday evening, should I say? Sorry, Friday evening. This is your most unstable atmospheric conditions, and we're going to see totals Friday afternoon and evening across pretty much the entirety of Michigan. But as we get later in the evening, we see that shift north, which is why we have that severe threat further north as storms start to fire and arrive. We're seeing instability here, roughly about 1,000 to 1,500 joules of CAPE, and most of this is going to be elevated CAPE. It's not going to be on the surface, so that's why we're concerned more so for the hailstones. If we're concerned for surface-based storms, that's more of a wind and tornadic threat. But this is more so a hail threat because the instability we have is way up in the atmosphere, not on the surface. So that's going to help keep these storms weaker in nature, but still produce some large hail, maybe some gusty winds as well. But the hail threat is primary. All right, this is Friday evening into the overnight hours of Saturday. But Sunday, the day 4 we just talked about, is another concern as well. Going forward into the day on Saturday, we have some lingering instability. Wouldn't be shocked off and on through the Friday to about Monday morning period to see a couple of rumbles of thunder in the state. Centered on Friday evening, yes, and also Sunday afternoon. But this is into Sunday morning now. Keep an eye on the instability here. We're going to see the instability start working its way back up into Michigan. Do take note, the highest is off to our south across Indiana and points southward, but we still have enough here across southern portions of Michigan to support perhaps a low-end severe risk. So by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, which would be Friday morning, don't be shocked to find southern Michigan in a marginal risk for severe weather on Sunday afternoon. Those risks would probably be a wind and hail threat. I don't really see too much in the way of anything tornadic with this system. But for right now, again, we're 3 days out. Let's give it some time to kind of evolve and go from there. But I think the highest concern aside from the severe weather side is going to be the ice side, because we are seeing some significant accumulations of ice on models, and we are concerned for power outages as well as tree impacts for portions of the UP. So full forecast suite will be posted on our Facebook throughout the day today. We'll go over everything tonight as well on live stream. So do tune in 7 o'clock tonight, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Twitch here at Michigan Storm Chasers. Break it down and also go over details as discussed here in the video, probably more in depth as well, answer some of your guys' questions. So with that being said, do take note, Friday to Sunday is going to be a wet period as well as a impactful period for Michigan. We got you guys covered though, so stay tuned. I'll catch you guys tomorrow and also tonight at 7 o'clock here for a briefing of this system.